Okay. Sorry, I'm on my husband's Mac and I'm not used to using it, so I'm trying to figure everything out. Um, okay, somebody's gonna have to help me when I have to share my screen because I don't know where it is. Okay, I'll just get started and then
It's kind of in the bottom. Do you see that like green? It says share. It's like an arrow. Do you see
oh
that?
yeah.
And then if you click on that, then it'll say like share your desktop or whatever.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen because I made some slides for you guys that I think will be helpful. Okay. So, I know a lot of you weren't able to attend your Super Weekend event. And I am fortunate enough to only have to drive like 20 minutes to get to mine. So, Meg and I both were able to go. And we got some really good information that I'm just going to pass along to you guys. Um, and I'm just going to start off with a couple announcements, a couple as in five. Just from the breaking news in our coach office, that we do have the 3 new promo codes. That Morning Meltdown 100 is still $20 off for the bundles. They did make some updates to our online office. You can get the video from the Super Weekend that they shared for the open house for potential coaches. You can get that in the online office now. So if you have anybody interested, you can go look at that and then share that with them. We still have the promos for Ultimate Portion Fix and To Be Mindset. If you are a master coach for either of those, you got the promos in your email. 3-day refresh is discounted from the 19th to the 26th, and Recover is $10 off for the rest of the month. So any other questions, you can go into your online office and check out the FAQs. Okay, so Super Sunday, we had Josh Spencer come and speak, who was a top coach. I'm not sure where he's ranked right now, but he had a really cool story about him starting, and it was really inspiring because when he was, before he even started, he was young and married and had a newborn, and they were living in like a really crummy apartment in like a terrible town. And him and his wife slept on the couch and their baby slept in the bedroom, and they did that for like over a year, and it was just super sad. And he talked about how they were on food stamps and they were on welfare, and he realized like when he had to pay for their groceries with food stamps, like he felt like a complete failure, like as a husband and as a dad, that this is how their family had to survive. So he had seen an infomercial for P90X and he had purchased it, and he was given, you know, the random coach, except he happened to have Barbie, Siggy's wife, as his upline coach. And she had reached out to him about coaching and he always said no and all this stuff. And then he realized, like, if I am going to get myself out and my family out of this terrible situation, I'm going to do this and I'm going to go all in. And within a year of him starting, he went from making no money to making 6 figures in 1 year, and he earned himself the #1 top coach spot. So it was just really inspiring, and he gave us basically like his top 2 biggest challenges of running a team. So I'm going to be talking about mindset and leadership, because those were the 2 things that he said once he changed his mindset and tweaked the way that he led his team, that's really where he saw his success. So he's very big on lists, which is great for my like obsessive need for taking notes. It made things really easy. But he was talking about how mindset is everything. And if you are a negative Nancy, you are not going to get anywhere. And it's not going to be helpful at all. Yes, we are list girls for sure. So that's why I told you guys to bring a pen and paper, because I listed it out. I tried to be as organized as possible. So that's just the teacher in me too. But to start off with, his first step, if it'll let me go, is to leave your comfort zone every single day. And that could be any way that you interpret it. And his big thing was facing your fears head on. His example was that he hated talking on the phone, but he had heard that that was one of the biggest ways to move his business forward. And this was like 2012, 2013. And so he decided, if this is what's going to work, that's what I'm going to do. So he was talking about how terrible it was. Yeah, I'll share it. How like terrible he was at making phone calls at first. And the more that he did it, he became more and more comfortable, and it started not feeling out of his comfort zone anymore. So whatever that happens to be for you, if that's inviting, if that's talking about the coaching opportunity, do a little bit of it every single day, and you'll notice that it becomes part of your comfort zone. And his second point was to eliminate negative thinking. And this part was really hit home with me because I am completely like in my head. I know the things I'm supposed to do, and I know how I'm supposed to do them, but I always have this negativity in my head telling me why I can't or why I shouldn't. And something that he was talking about that really struck me was that we are 100% in control of our own thoughts and our mood. And it sounds so stupid to be like, well, duh. But it's so true, because sometimes we get in funks or we get in moods, or we like tell ourselves that we can't do things or things like that. But if you become mindful of your own negative thinking, you're able to stop it and flip it around. So one way to do that is to take that negative thought and turn it into a positive. So if you're thinking like, I'll never be able to build a team because none of my challengers want to take on the business, or none of my discount coaches want to become an active coach, then you can take that mindset and instead say, I haven't quite found my tribe, because if these people were as driven as I am or as passionate about this as I am, they would already be coaching with me. So kind of taking a negative thought about your own business and flipping it around. So I liked that a lot. This one was pretty big too. And this was knowing how to handle failure. And I know that that's something that our coaching team has talked about a lot, because we realize that we all hate failing. I mean, nobody likes to fail. And a lot of times that creates our fears. And learning how to be comfortable with failure. And he even breaks this step into a list. So I'll go through those really quickly. So the first thing you have to do in handling your fear is to embrace it. So to take note that it happened and just basically say, okay, clearly this didn't work for me. And then the second step would be, why? Why didn't that work? What about it failed? And then 3 would be to talk to your upline about it, or somebody else on your team, and try to figure out what could you have done instead, what might work better for the next time. And then the next step would be to create a plan on what you're going to do instead. And then the last one would be to put that into action. So acknowledging the failure, analyzing what it was that you did wrong, talking to your upline about it, creating a plan on what you're going to do for the next time, and then taking the action to actually implement that plan. That makes sense? Okay. Step 4 to a better mindset. And we've talked about this a lot with like our challengers and talking about how you can always make time and you know it's good for you, but the same is true for us in our coaching business, where we know what we're supposed to do, we know how to do those things, but sometimes we say, oh, well, I'm not the rank I want to be because this person decided that they were going to quit. It wasn't for them anymore, so I didn't rank up, or whatever it is. But we need to put that on ourselves and admit to ourselves, no, I didn't make that rank because I didn't work hard enough, or I didn't put in the time, or I got scared to invite this person, or whatever it is. And like really taking ownership of the real reasons behind our failures or not quite meeting our goals, instead of just making excuses for ourselves. Number 5 is consistently better yourself. And we all know that we do that through our personal development. Something that Josh had touched on this point was that it's not just find a personal development and read it or listen to it or watch it, but it was find something that's in the area where you're struggling in your business. If you're struggling with self-doubt, or you're struggling with, maybe you yourself are struggling with an eating disorder, or you're struggling with, I don't know, just actually getting things done, you just procrastinate all the time, then that's where you're going to aim your personal development. You're going to read things about that. You're going to watch videos or listen to podcasts about the things that you're personally struggling with. And you might be the only one you know that's ever read that book, but that doesn't matter because you are your team, and you are the leader of your team. And then the last step to mindset is that you need to be the hardest worker that you know. You need to have that drive inside of you to want to work harder than anybody else. And that you shouldn't end your day and say, wow, I barely did anything, or I got nothing done today, or just spend most of your time looking at other people and, comparing yourself to their successes. No, instead you have to kind of put your blinders up and just say, I know what I have to do, and I'm going to work my butt off to get there. So those are the steps for increasing your positive mindset. Any questions on those before I move on? Okay, cool. Then I'm going to move on to leadership, was the other half of Josh's presentation. And I loved this quote that he gave us, which was just, developing leaders on your team creates success. And it seems so simple, but it's true. We're not going to succeed if we're not actively creating other leaders on our team. And I know Alicia's been talking a lot about this with her Road to Elite and all the millions of star diamonds that we're hoping the team will be next year for Summit, that we need to be consistently creating other leaders. So he has 5 steps to better leadership. These are a little bit more what we've already been talking about. Literally millions. So the first step is personal development, like similar to our mindset, because they kind of go hand in hand. And he recommended a book. I'll put it in the chat towards the end if I remember. If not, I'll put it in our team page. It was 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. I don't know if you guys have read that. It's a John Maxwell book. But he has said he read it like a million times and swears by it. So I'll put that in the team page so that we can get looking at that book because I haven't read that one. Lead by example. This is also pretty obvious and things that we talk about a lot, especially with our accountability group, where if we're not working out, if we're not drinking Shakeology, we can't make our challengers do that. They're looking at us to show them what to do. That's why we're their coach. That's why we're their mentor, because they're looking to us to show them what to do. And same goes for any coaches that are below you. If you are not inviting, if you are not reaching out, if you're not posting, if you're not working, like any of those things, all the vital behaviors, if we're not doing them, our coaches below us aren't going to be doing them either. They need to see how it's done in order for them to do them themselves. Number 3, have compassion. But when you need to show tough love, you need to show tough love. And I know that I'm like a super softie and I'm like totally, oh, that's okay. No, I totally get it. But there are times when I realize that I need to say, no, like this was your goal. We're going to work towards that. And you need to be all in for it. Whether that's for a customer or a coach that's below you that's trying to reach a certain rank or hit a certain income, we need to give them that tough love sometimes in order for them to realize that you really do care about them, and you have their best interest at heart, and you really truly want to help them reach that goal. And I think that they'll respect you even more when you do that, instead of just saying like, yeah, it's fine if you don't invite today, or if you don't work out today, that's totally fine. It's not okay. And they need to know that. They need to know that this is a business and they need to treat it like a business, just like you're treating it like a business. Number 4 is do everything with integrity. And this was one that he talked about a lot. And it's just like basically being vulnerable and being open and honest with people, being transparent. You're not going to sit there and tell someone that, yeah, I can probably get you a challenge pack for $30, knowing full well that that's absolutely not true. Because the second that you become misleading or you misguide somebody, they're done. Like they are totally turned off, not just from you and from your group, but also like from Beachbody and all of our products in general. So just being really truthful and honest with people, and being clear about it's going to be hard, or this business isn't always easy and it's not always pretty, but you know, we put in the work and we're trying to just help people the best that we can. And number 5, recognition. We all love to be recognized for things that we're doing well. And the same goes for the coaches that we're going to be signing on, or we have already signed on as well. And I think in our group, we're pretty good with recognition. But I think it also helps like recognizing our challengers that are losing weight or have non-scale victories or have been eating clean for, 3 days. They made it 3 days so far. And just showing other people, like, we're not just here to motivate you, but we are so proud of the work that you're doing. And then also like with our coaches, if they're hitting ranks, if they're signing up new people, if they're selling a challenge pack, if they're getting somebody to do a free subscription, like the 30-day subscription of BOD, like anything that they're doing, if you're recognizing them and encouraging them and showing them that you're really proud of them for stepping out of their comfort zone and doing these things, then they're going to want to keep doing that. And they're going to gain that confidence from you to keep going and keep pushing and keep working. So that is actually all that I have. I know I talk pretty fast, but there's a lot of really good information here. I have this in Google Drive, but I can download it as something else and then upload it, as well as add in that 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. And then also, Josh Spencer did write his own book too. I think it's called like Suck It Up, something like that. I'll look that up too. It's on his Instagram. But all good things that we can read and take away from. And I thought that his presentation was really well done because he tied a lot of the things back to his own life. So instead of just talking about doing everything with integrity, he talked about a time where he wasn't really sure how to respond to somebody. And the way that he responded, they took it the wrong way, and then like they were done. So being able to see how these steps for mindset and for leadership can really play out in your life was really really helpful, and allowed us to really make connections to our own lives and be able to see where we can implement all of them. So that's what I have. Any questions? Any comments?
Awesome job, Krista. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
That was awesome. And it really went hand to hand. I don't know if you guys listened to the like podcast that I put in the group today, but that was really, really good with Bob Heilig too. That was really phenomenal. He did a really great job about explaining about like kind of how you talked about like failure and fears and kind of like, I don't know, he's going to do a podcast. I think that was last week, or was it that this week's episode? I don't remember, but he was going to do, his next episode is going to be about the fear of failure, where this was like the fear of reaching out to people and connecting with people. And it was still really good. Like I got a lot out of it too. It was very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, you have it recording, right? Okay.
Yeah, I do. I muted myself.
Okay, perfect. All
Okay.
right, well, if there are no other questions, I'll get this stuff uploaded in our team page, but I appreciate you guys jumping on.
We'll see you. Good night.
Good night.